Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. We have been tracking a round of slow-moving thunderstorms that pounded parts of the inland northwest tonight. We start with team coverage at this hour as we continue to track that storm system making its way through the area. Kyle Simchuk is out in the storm tracker checking the latest conditions. We begin, though, with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo, who has the very latest on the forecast. Jeremy?
Well, Mark, it's one of those ones where we still have our flood watch in place through tomorrow at 11 a.m., and that is in anticipation of even more heavy rain across the region. We have seen the worst of it, I think, when it comes to some of those severe storms. Right now, things aren't looking too bad. Most of our moisture now moving into central Washington and making its way into the foothills of the Cascades. We have a little bit of regeneration taking place in the Silver Valley, but for the most part, that seems to be about it. Forecast models keep that chance of rain in the forecast through tomorrow morning, and we're going to continue to hang on to that chance of rain in the afternoon, but most of that stays a little bit farther to the north. You can see it looks like another round of isolated and scattered thunderstorms take place tomorrow afternoon, with more moisture lifting in by tomorrow evening. I think here in Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, and many of the surrounding communities, we wind up seeing another round of showers. With temperatures a lot cooler, I don't quite think we have that same severe weather threat tomorrow. And then as we head into the weekend, it looks like those scattered showers continue. All in all, I do think we are through the worst of it, but those temperatures starting to cool on the backside of some of what we've seen so far. Morning rain tomorrow. I think we'll just change that to kind of scattered showers throughout the day. Scattered storms on Saturday, temperatures in the 70s, and then back in the 80s by Sunday before we warm up and dry out early next week.
Sounds good, Jeremy. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, Kyle Simchuk has been out all evening in the storm tracker following the heavy rain. He has the very latest on severe thunderstorms that tore through our region. Kyle?
Throughout the day, we've seen rain start to pool on some roadways, but the rain was just one element of this storm. Take a look at some of the dramatic photos and videos sent in by KREM 2 viewers. Late this afternoon, weather across the inland northwest turned stormy.
Nice line. Oh, there's a lightning. Cool.
A downpour in Kellogg and an impressive lightning strike in Rathdrum, sent to us by Jennifer Gold. We could see and hear it too at the KREM 2 studios on the South Hill. Some of the electricity in the air grounding on the KREM 2 tower. Today's storm also brought plenty of wind. Boats at McDonald's Resort in Bayview tossed around like toys.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
The wind also brought down a tree, hitting this car's windshield off Kidd Island Road in Coeur d'Alene. And over near Harrison, Cheryl Sorensen says the storm brought down power lines, which sparked a fire. The rain stuck around the longest, and more is on the way tomorrow.
Look at that, baby. That's gold going in that tank. Woohoo!
In Spokane, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
Turning to a story that broke into our newsroom just hours ago, former President Donald Trump says he has been indicted in connection with a federal investigation into his handling of sensitive government documents. In a post on Truth Social, former President Trump said attorneys with the Justice Department informed him that he must appear in a federal courthouse in Miami on Tuesday. Sources tell CBS News the multi-count indictment is connected to the allegedly unlawful retention of national defense information and obstruction of government efforts to retrieve those documents.
There's really not much legally that could potentially help him by saying this is going to happen. I mean, all of this is political. All of this is so that he can frame the narrative.
Mr. Trump, who's denied any wrongdoing in the case, released a statement saying, quote, "I never thought it possible that such a thing could happen to a former president of the United States who received far more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country. I am an innocent man." The indictment would make Trump the first former president in history to face federal charges brought by the Justice Department. Happening tomorrow, 2 hearings will be held to discuss the scope of a gag order in the Moscow quadruple murder case. The first hearing will address the family's issues with the gag order. Then the second hearing will be to hear evidence in the media's lawsuit. KREM 2 is a part of that lawsuit. Right now, anyone connected with the case is prohibited from speaking to the media. We will bring you an update on any developments tomorrow on KREM 2 News, as well as on our website. That's KREM.com. Well, today would have been Kaylee Gonzalez's 22nd birthday. She was one of the 4 University of Idaho students killed in November. In honor of her birthday, Kaylee's family celebrated today as Kaylee Jade Day. People, they said, could honor her life and legacy by purposefully doing something they love to do. You can share how you are celebrating Kaylee's Day by using the hashtag KayleeJadeDay on social media. And now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. Next week, the Spokane City Council is expected to vote on an emergency ordinance in response to complaints against the police chief. The move comes after Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward repeatedly declined to launch an investigation after Police Chief Craig Motto was accused of showing favoritism and providing city records to downtown business owners. Council President Brianne Begg says this ordinance will change city code to match a 2013 charter amendment, which says the police ombudsman shall independently investigate complaints against police officers. The full details can be found on KREM.com. And following more than a year of work, Spokane has a new Civil Rights, Equity, and Inclusion Officer and a new director. Jarrell Haynes is expected to lead the new office after an appointment by Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward. Haynes, a former Spokane Public Schools board member, has been working as a civil rights coordinator for more than a year now. The City Council is expected to consider Haynes' appointment coming up on Monday. And religious broadcaster Pat Robertson has died at the age of 93. Robertson hosted the Global Christian Broadcasting Network's flagship show, The 700 Club, which became a fixture in American living rooms for more than 50 years. In 1989, he launched the Christian Coalition, cementing the close relationship between evangelical Christian voters and the Republican Party that continues today. We dive deeper into Robertson's influence coming up at 10:13 tonight. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word night to 509-448-2000 and we'll send them directly to your phone. We have an update on the deaths of 5 women across the Portland area. Earlier this week, Portland police said there was no indication their cases were connected, but tonight a new report shows that statement may have been premature. A source close to the investigation told the Oregonian newspaper 3 of the victims do share at least one thing in common. They are all apparently frequented in the same area of Portland. Our Portland station spoke to the mother of one of the victims, Charity Perry. The 24-year-old vanished in early March and was found dead a month later.
I had to accept that I may have to wait quite a while to get the answers that I need.
Perry's mom says she is not convinced any of the deaths are connected, though she adds she wouldn't be shocked if they are. Over on the west side, Virginia Mason Medical Center in Seattle confirms 2 more deaths related to a bacterial outbreak at the hospital. Back in April, the hospital detected 27 confirmed cases of patients infected with the bacterial Klebsiella pneumonia. Tonight, that number is up to 33. Officials are still trying to track down the source of the outbreak. The bacteria lives naturally in the environment, and infections commonly occur among those who are sick or immunocompromised. Across the nation tonight, in a surprise decision by the U.S. Supreme Court, they ruled against an Alabama congressional map that civil rights groups said discriminated against black voters. In a 5-4 split, the justices said the state's Republican-drawn congressional map likely violated the 1965 Voting Rights Act, siding with the lower court's decision. Legal analysts say the decision upholds a key provision of the landmark law.
What the court said today is Section 2 of that landmark 1965 Voting Rights Act, it will still guard against at least the most egregious types of racial gerrymandering. What does that mean? It means you're drawing district lines to reduce voting power on the basis of race.
Conservative justices John Roberts and Brett Kavanaugh sided with the court's 3 liberal justices in the decision. The ruling means Alabama officials will have to redraw the state's congressional map with an additional majority black district. The case had been closely watched for its impact on the U.S. House and the Voting Rights Act. Meanwhile, the U.S. Surgeon General says loneliness and isolation brought on by the COVID pandemic hit kids hard, with social media making matters worse. Dr. Vivek Murthy testified before a Senate panel today on that topic. Committee Chair Bernie Sanders suggested that climate change could be another stressor. Lawmakers also heard from educators on the front lines of the crisis.
Too many of our students reported having felt sad or hopeless, and that their mental health was not good most or all of the time.
We know that through engagement, tiered supports, and shared strategies, our students are being more successful dealing with their individual emotions.
The nation's top doctor is pressing Congress to establish standards to ensure social media platforms are safe for young people.